Craig, finally.
No,
we
okay.
Okay. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Late Night Lounge podcast. I'm joined here with Ryan,
Hey, yo, what's up?
Nick,
Yo.
James,
Finally, hello.
and myself, which I'm Ollie. Unfortunately, tonight we're not going to have Michael with us since he is on vacation in Townsville for his Christmas. So
Our
we wish
usual
him,
superstar host.
yeah, wish him all the luck. So, boys, that was a fucking massive sound check.
An hour long.
Yeah.
Gosh, we apologize for the delay. Jeez Louise.
They're
it's
not
like-
going to feel it though, because we're not live or anything.
Yeah,
but
we're not live right now.
No,
Still a
yeah,
shame.
no, it's
Yeah,
fine.
so-
It's fine.
So we're recording this at the moment on Christmas, Boxing Day, so after Christmas for Australia. So how'd you all guys go with your Christmas? Does anyone want to rank it off?
Let's hear it from James first. I want to hear what James' Christmas was like.
Well, it was eventful. It was pretty good.
Eventful?
We did a Secret Santa with the family. My
Yo, that's actually so cool.
yeah. Well, I crafted a table and put a I actually have photos. Like a little
Wow.
Totoro picture on it. It was pretty cool. And then Jordan, my brother, he
Fucking
makes
Totoro.
well, actually no. Okay, so not to sponsor or anything, but
What are you doing, James?
you can get these
Pardon?
tables there for like $15. It's lit.
Shameless plug.
But anyway, no, yeah, my brother made a chopping board, and we got that. So yeah, no, it was alright. It's pretty good. I bought someone a Halo helmet though. You wanna talk about that?
Yeah. So James, who is a fucking legend, he got. Me and him did Christmas together. So I came
Oh
to
my
his
god,
place
no way.
to see it. So, I opened up the thing. I opened up like this Titanic Lego thing, which is kind of cool. But then I opened up this big box, and I open up the top, and I see Master Chief's helmet. I'm like, no.
Oh my god.
And then I take it out of the box. It's you know that Halo Infinite helmet that's out in EB Games and stuff right now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he got
He
me
didn't.
that collector's
He
helmet.
didn't. Oh,
Yeah, he did.
I'm so
So
jealous. I'm so
when we
jealous.
actually get a good studio, you're going to see that on a shelf or in the middle.
Oh
And
my
like,
god.
it's like a wearable helmet. It has the lights on the side, and
Oh my
and
god.
it also has sound effects from the game, so like shields recharging and like shooting and stuff. It's a one-way glass mirror as well. So like it's
No
so
fucking
it's
way.
gold, it's gold on the front, and then when you look through it, it's like you're looking through like a visor.
Dude,
It's fucking cool.
Dude, I'm gonna die. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
it
die
is-
from jealousy. I'm such
It
a
is the
fucking nerd.
coolest. It is, yeah, no,
Oh
it is the
my-
coolest fucking thing. And it's one of the first
Oh my God.
memorabilia I've gotten from a Halo game on launch. So I thank
I
James for
thought
that.
it worked well because when we were kids, we used to make them out of paper mache. I'm like,
Yeah, me and James when we were young. A bit off topic here, but we used to like use cardboard and actually make like helmets from Halo and like paint them
That's
and like make
actually
colours
so
from
cool.
the day.
Wait, actually, I remember. I remember James showed me. I think it was your brother that did it, James. But there was a paper mache assault rifle, Halo assault rifle that was like colored and everything. It looked authentic. It looked real. It was amazing. Incredible.
James did it. James made that. and it was a
James
fucking-
did it. That
yeah.
it looked so good. It
had like a
looked
removable
incredible.
magazine and everything. Yeah, that's when me and him made paper mache. Like we had like the paper like guns that we used to make.
You
from
guys
Halo.
made it look so detailed.
Like
and authentic.
I made the BR and he made the assault rifle. It's fucking cool.
Oh wow.
Cool shit.
Wow, that takes some serious skills. I wouldn't be able to do that in my life dependent on it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, fucking!
It's actually,
wow,
it's
nice
actually
job, guys.
really cool how they're made because all you really do is you make circles out of paper and then you just stick them together to make a base and then you just cover it with paper. It's such a simple thing to do and I kind of want to start doing it again because it was so fun to make as a kid.
Yeah.
Honestly, you could make them and sell them. Like it looked that good. It looked like that good of a job.
Yeah, but they're very flimsy. Like to make them really strong, you actually got to mache them. Like I
Yeah.
remember, you remember the ballista from Black Ops 2, Ryan?
Yep.
I made that for a friend, but I paper mache. I only did a couple layers of paper mache. I couldn't paint it in time, but I gave
Right.
it to him, and like it was cool because I actually like did the bolt action and everything out of paper.
Wow.
And, like, it was really cool, but the only problem with them is that it's very flimsy and it's just
Yeah.
like it's
Very
really crap.
structurally weak. I see. That
Kinda
makes
lost
sense
it,
as a paper mache, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But hey, it's
I think it's
still
just that 3D printing is the new craft, so it's really hard to compete with that when you're paper mache.
It's hella expensive compared to paper mache, though.
It's so expensive. High maintenance.
3D printing, it's a different breed, but it is pretty costly.
So
what else did you get up to?
So obviously we did Secret Santa, obviously. So James made this really cool table. I made a like a little wooden tree that you can hang shit off of. So
Wow.
a lot of the stuff that we had to do was DIY stuff. So it was pretty cool to make shit and then like see people get it, be like, oh shit, that's actually kind of cool.
Okay, so like, did you both sort of share the same Christmas experience? I guess more or less.
Yeah, I was pretty much there for Christmas because I think Mum was doing something else. So yeah.
So what was your take on your Christmas that you had together?
Well, my take.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. Like it was really cool seeing all the family again and like having a bit of a pool party. Seeing my I think they'd be cousins for me now. Yeah, seeing my cousins. So that's really cool because like I didn't have any cousins until like this year, pretty much when James's sister started breeding.
Whoa.
Let's breed. So yeah, I finally have cousins, and it's cool to watch them grow up, especially Charlie. So yeah, it was cool seeing them and hanging out with it was really fun.
Oh, it's nice. I'm glad to hear you guys had such a good time, and I can't believe that you got him that fucking helmet, James. You're a madman.
I know, no, dude.
I heard you got absolutely blasted on Aperol. What's up with that?
Yeah, Ryan. You want to explain why you got blasted? You got you sent a picture and said like,
that is not oh my god. Okay, well, I guess that's a good segue. I mean, for Christmas, basically like Christmas Day, a bunch of my family came over, but this is new family members that I didn't know we had. They were like estranged for like most of my life, my mother's life, because they're from her side. But recently we'd been introduced to them and we'd gotten to know them. Like, but I say recently, I mean like over the past few months. And so more of my family, cousins pretty much of mine that I didn't know were my cousins. They came over and some of them I met for the first time. Some of them I'd met before, the past few months. But it was nice because we got to spend some time with them. Some other of my family members that came over that I hadn't seen in years. I went out in my cousin's car and he fucking throttled it all over my town. It was insane. He was fucking doing donuts and shit. It was insane.
Just drifting around like a mad lad.
Dude, he was absolutely fucking throttling it.
What kind of car did he drive?
A Commodore.
Of course, it's a Commodore driver. What a surprise!
I was waiting for the reaction.
Look, Ryan, every car has its charm, but it's just so funny because that's such an Australian car. We see them all the time.
Say what you will.
I think it's more that no, Ryan. That sounds like a good time.
No. I mean, like, all due respect, I respect a man who can drift because that shit's hard. So that's cool.
He was absolutely fucking just going ham. It was insane. And then later that night, I went over to see some other family, and that's where I pissed myself. Like, I mean, I got drunk. I mean, like, up to that point, I was having cans. I'd had about 5 or 6 cans. And then I got there and I was starting to do like mixes with whiskey and Southern Comfort. I was having some cocktails as well, like with vodka, for example. That was one of the ones I sent you guys in the group chat. It was
I saw that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. It was one of the cocktails I had. It was quite nice actually. It was a good time. I sort of just got pissed and enjoyed Christmas. You
do know if you ever come to Brisbane, the first night we are clubbing and getting fucking smashed. You know that. We're gonna get fucking destroyed. So
dude, I'm gonna be fucking reported to the authorities for public indecency.
You're gonna be deported. That's how fucking smashed you.
First night, I'm gonna be deported straight away. It's my unholy acts.
Anyway, so Nick, what about you? How was your Christmas?
Mine's always the same every year. It's always, it's okay, but sometimes a little slow. Didn't really do much this year. For the last few years I haven't really asked for much, so I don't really get many things except for just maybe some money. So same old stuff usually.
Oh yeah,
Gosh, I wish I got money. God.
yeah. With my household family, like we don't really do Christmas anymore, so like it's kind of been different for a while. Like we do
Mhm.
Greek Christmas, so it's just a week of like celebration of it instead of like just the one day. So you kind of just
So like Hanukkah.
yeah, it's Hanukkah, but like Greek. Like so you just like commemorate the Greek gods or some bullshit. I don't know.
I remember when you guys used to do that. One gift every day for like a week.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. That's Saturday.
Oh,
That's-
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like Jewish Christmas. It's really it's kind of cool. Like, Mum got us a couple like little gag gifts and stuff, and I got my brothers some fucking like I blew my like the only reason I didn't get James and stuff a lot of stuff is because I blew my entire load onto my brother and my
Whoa.
brothers. Like, in terms of like, hang on. I blew my entire load of my paycheck on my brothers. Like, I spent like nearly $400 in total on them. Just
You're
because
so good for that. You're so good for that.
Yeah, it's because I love them that much. Because I got my
It
brothers.
sounds like it.
Fuck you guys.
No,
Honestly,
okay,
only thank
that's
you for
really
that.
sweet.
That's a
Yeah,
fucking
like-
Yeah.
gem.
Yeah,
That was
like,
really sweet.
yeah, I spent about I think $150 each on them. So like it kind of made my mum feel bad, but I was I just had to do something about it.
No, that's really good of you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you and your brother have such a close relationship.
Yeah, no, me fuck you. At least my brother's gonna get chicks pregnant.
Oh, true. That's fucking true.
Not
Yeah,
that
Hey,
we
it's
know
the
of yet.
circle of life,
Not-
all right.
Not that
Yeah.
we know of yet.
So yeah, hopefully my brother starts playing footy now that I got him some fucking rugby boots. So let's hope he
Mhm.
starts wanting to actually play.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Nick, I heard, or more like you were briefly telling me about, your near miss, your almost situation. You wanna expand on that, buddy?
Oh, okay.
Oh, what's this?
So as you guys know, and I'm not sure if the audience knows this, but I went onto a trip to Ailey Beach, which was about a 4-hour drive from us.
Did you say a 4-hour drive?
It's a 4-hour,
Yeah.
4-hour drive, but we flew there.
Ooh, okay,
Um,
right.
So on the last night, we went clubbing.
Ooh.
and-
Wait. Who's we? I need to know.
It was me and a few other friends from high school. It's a different group of friends.
Okay, Nick.
And
Alright, buddy.
we went clubbing, and there was a girl who was like sort of like talking to me at some point, and I wasn't and I didn't pick up on what she was trying. I could barely hear, but at some point I didn't realize what she was saying to me until like the next day. I'm like, oh right,
Oh no.
you know,
She
Oh,
wanted it. Oh
she was cracking
god.
onto you. Was she?
yeah, like no jokes, like. But I was just sort of like more into just like partying with people than just sort of doing whatever.
Yeah.
No, I think
Oh,
hooking
yeah.
up in a club is like the most stingiest thing you can do. Like I see why people do
Yeah.
it because it is sort of how you meet each other nowadays. Except if you want to if you don't want to do online dating, but
Yeah.
like I don't really want to hook up with a random chick that I don't really know that often.
Nah, me neither.
Well, when we went clubbing that night, okay, when I went to the bathroom because we spent like a full hour trying to look for a bathroom or something.
Yeah.
It felt like an hour.
Yeah, yeah.
When I went to the bathroom, right, there was a store because there was 3 stores. There was a disabled one, one for women, and one for men, right? And the disabled one had a huge line going to it, right? And there was also a huge line going to the men's too. I couldn't really tell the difference, but I know that there was a line going to the disabled as well. And when I was walking into the men's bathroom, someone accidentally walked into the disabled room while it was like closed, right? And I remember having a glimpse, and there was a lady, and there was 2
Ugh.
dudes. And the guy quickly closed it. He goes, "Oh, sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt your privacy," right? And then, like, other people were behind him were saying, like, "Oh, dude, get out of here, get in line." I'm like, what is going on here? So I was so drunk. I just like walked into the thing, and I think you know what was happening.
I
but
think he was about to do a Eiffel Tower, if you know what I mean.
I think it
Bit of a
was.
spit roast.
I think it was a woman giving
was it
or 2
two dudes
men.
or-
Okay, it could be 2 men, or it was the woman, or it could be all of them giving services, if you know what I mean, right?
Giving
No,
services.
that's what I mean. Like they're probably going to do an Eiffel Tower. You know,
Yeah,
when they,
yeah,
like,
an eye
bite
for tail. Yeah,
each
and I
other.
think that's what the line was. Like people were pretending to line up to like the women and the men's bathroom, but secretly they're wanting to go into that.
Yeah,
And they were,
Oh
do that.
my
I
god!
know how that
That
is like.
happens a lot. A lot of clubs also do. They'll do like a quickie. They'll line up for a quickie, then they'll fuck off. It's
Yeah,
kinda-
yeah. So that's why I can understand how you say it's very
Dude,
sticky because like
I don't know
that
if you guys
is
agree. Like, it's cool. I'm not judging anyone that does that. If that's your idea of fun, that's fine.
Yeah,
But,
I
like,
don't mind it.
that
Yeah.
kind of thing sometimes just makes me sad. Like that
I
people
know.
do that.
Like if you enjoy just doing that kind of shit, like, and you like it, I'd like all power to you. I don't really care.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but it's just not for me. Like, I'm not a big
No,
fan
it's
of
not for
hookup
me either.
and
No,
stuff.
I think it's more. I'm
I-
just a like germaphobe on it because like
Oh,
I just-
okay.
you're trading
Yeah.
bodily fluids, and there's so many people that you don't know, and it's in a club
Yeah.
where people are like
And-
slipping over vomit and stuff and falling on the
Yeah,
ground.
yeah,
and
yeah.
getting
And
It's so
the most
gross.
important thing, you don't know if they got any kind of STIs or some
Yes,
shit.
yeah.
yeah.
That's what
And
that's what I'm worried
you
about.
gotta imagine, like, if someone's easy with you and they're like willing to do it, like, you know, quickly or whatever, like if someone's just easy, you have to imagine it's not their first time, so
Yeah.
like there's a lot of history you don't know
And
about.
also, some chicks will like have sex with dudes just to give them a disease because they like to spread it. Because like some people are psychopaths.
That's actually a thing. Wait,
That's-
hold on.
yeah,
Let me
that's
look that
fucked
up.
up.
I know that's
And it's
actually a
crazy.
thing.
There was
hold
a
up.
dude who had I think it was I think it was herpes or something, but he spread it to like 50 women and then eventually
Oh
got
my
caught and sent to
God.
prison. And it technically counts as terrorism.
Yeah, I think it should. That's fucked up.
Yeah, so he got sent to prison for he got sent to prison for terrorism pretty much. So like yeah, like there are people who will do that. So if it's too easy to be true, like it's really easy, probably don't. But then
Yeah.
again, who am I to judge?
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, whether you ultimately make that decision is up to you. I'm sure most people are aware of the risks, or like at least to some degree, it's something, you know, they're probably. I don't know, maybe not. Who knows what goes through your mind at that moment? I can imagine if you're drunk, maybe it's really just the heat of the moment thing. You're like, oh, I want some fuck, and you just get in there.
Especially if you're a virgin, you're just desperate if you're that point sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like,
Like,
you know,
I know-
yeah, I can't really.
Yeah.
I couldn't
like
really,
I know a
do
lot
that.
of kids my age who'd be a virgin would probably be very desperate for it, but like at the same time, I don't care.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
don't-
the thing
I
is
consider
that at
really-
our age, it's like an uncontrollable thing, right? Just because of the way
Yeah.
that we develop. But it's just more how like you've raised yourself, right, and how you
Yeah.
think responsibility and stuff should be. Because if you let those urges become uncontrollable, then that means it's not a good thing, right? You know, just because those urges are there and it's natural doesn't mean that it's normal to let them be a thing. And I feel like that's like, especially with the Valley, a lot of people let happen, which is fine, I guess, but that's also a bad thing. And it's just like, why? If we're going to go to a club to like dance and party and stuff, don't go to the Valley. It's not.
No, we should go to
it's
the
not
we should go to the OMFing. That's a good one.
Oh
Because
yeah,
it's class, and it's only $10 to get in. It's
Yeah.
it's like the one that we're at, but it's just more class.
yeah,
Yeah.
We might go there next time.
yeah. Well, anyway, shall we move on to
Back on
some
topic. Any other
topics? Yeah.
well any other Christmas stories from any of you guys, like from your Christmas
Yeah, anyone?
experience,
And
or-
yeah, extra
Oh.
Christmas stories.
I just remembered something. So yesterday, there was like this slideshow that was playing. All of us just could watch whenever we wanted. It was
Yeah.
from like previous family stuff, and there was this photo that of my cousin and I. Apparently, we were given the you know those hand dispensers for the for like a hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Apparently, we were given those as children.
like as a Christmas gift.
Yeah, as a Christmas gift for some reason.
Oh my god, I want to give someone a napkin dispenser as a Christmas gift.
And
A
I don't
napkin
know who gave it
dispenser?
to us, but for some reason they thought it was a good idea to give it to us. And then
Yeah.
it was just like, okay. And then I made a joke saying like, apparently we knew COVID was coming or some shit because there's no reason for us to ask for a fucking hand sanitizer dispenser. Fucking
The kids are in the
beforehand,
known.
like, told me before.
I'm actually not even joking. I would love a hand sanitizer dispenser. The amount of times
No,
where I
so
wash
would
my
I.
hands and I just want to have some hand sanitizer on my hand, it's probably a bad thing, and I probably like got some mental disorder or something. But
I would
I'm
like
just
a soap dispenser in my bathroom. That would be cool. I want a soap dispenser.
Oh, I want a bidet. Oh, just sort of washing right up there. Oh my god, nice and crystal clean. Oh my god, I'm not even joking. I'd love that.
Dude, what the fuck?
Oh, it'd probably feel pretty good too.
All right, moving on. This
Anyway.
is actually a very. Anyway, moving on. So that's Christmas wrapped up. Any New Year's plans for anyone, or is it still pretty undecided?
I'm just
Undecided for me.
Yeah.
So wait, Nick. So
I'm
like, you still have to self-isolate, or is like, did you figure that all out?
Sorry?
So with your self-isolation for the
yeah, no, so that's fine. We're good.
Isn't it still
Okay,
that you're?
that's
Isn't it
cool.
that you're still in Queensland? You don't have to.
No, well, like they've actually I think they've lowered it to like, I think a week if you're in close contact. But
Well, Nick's got his vaccine, so
yeah, no, but I
Yeah.
think it's all been squared away anyway, so that's all. Good.
yeah. Oh shit! Sorry.
What was that? We
Sorry.
had that over here, bro.
Drop something off my toilet. Sorry.
Yeah, so all right, so moving on to other things. So Nick actually brought this topic up in the chat a while ago, and I think it's a very good topic. And
I
that
think it is
is,
too.
do you guys reckon that games are getting low quality, or is it just down nostalgia?
Yeah, and like similar and samey.
So like, take the new Battlefield for example. Like,
Oh
is
god.
it, like every
Oh god, it's such an accurate. It's
Hold on,
such
let me
an
just go grab
accurate-
my wine.
like obviously like it's not a very good and polished game, but if it was polished, would you still like it if it launched polished, or would it just be a game that you just would not like to play? Like, because I'm trying to think here, because like a lot of games that come out, even when I like played Halo Infinite, I was very picky when it came out in terms of like what's different, and I feel like that's just because of nostalgia with older games, and that's why we should have new games coming in instead of just releasing sequels to really old games like Halo and Battlefield and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I think also to add on to that, I think there are some games that a number of games now aren't coming out as like an entire game as what they should, because with and it's also like not only are they like not fully coming up with full content, they're also like not always polished either. Like take Cyberpunk for example, that wasn't exactly polished, and I know there was issues with that, but like, and I know every game doesn't come out like polished fully entirely, but it feels like there are also just some other games aren't doing as well as what they used to. And I know that what I said was like a bunch of different things, but what I also noticed is with the new Battlefield and the new COD, apparently those two were hyped for a bit of this year for a farming simulator game to have more concurrent players than both games combined.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Hey,
That's
don't
pretty sad.
diss my boy Farming Simulator 22, bro.
Like when Battlefield 42 came out, didn't they lose like 60% of their fan base on like the opening week when it came out, or some kind of shit like that?
Yeah, let me get
and-
scratch.
But like, to be honest, like that's obviously like Battlefield's like always launched pretty like sloppy. Like, let's be honest, it's Battlefield 4's launch. Oh god, it was such a bad launch. And Battlefield 3 even launched horrible, and same as Battlefield 1. But what I want to know is, when it's finally polished, will it actually like be a good game again, or will it still be a pile of shit that no one wants to play? Like, that's what I'm kind of wondering.
It might make a resurgence because other games have done it in the past. But
Battlefield
I feel
4's
like
done
with Battlefield 2042, I feel like a lot of the damage has been done already. So I feel like if it does get a resurgence, it's probably not going to be a big one. I mean, I don't know. You know, I could be totally wrong. It's just you know, at least in my case, I was open to Battlefield 2042, but after I played it, it didn't take that long. I was so open to it. I really wanted to be like excited for it, and I didn't have my expectations that high. And I still had fun playing the game. But despite all that, it didn't take long for me not only to get bored of the game, but to really see like the issues it had. So I feel like if it was like that for me, I feel like it would have been a lot like the negative effect and impact it would have had on other people would be a lot worse.
Yeah, like I know a lot of hardcore Battlefield fans probably will be like, "Oh, it'll get good," which I hate hearing that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But,
So, according to SteamDB, Battlefield's peak concurrent player count for the preceding 24 hours was 24,430, which doesn't sound that bad. But when it launched, its launch day peak was 105,397.
yeah, so they lost
If
about
we
60%.
if we go to Halo Infinite,
Yeah. Because
launch
Infinite
player base.
was a very I was surprised how polished. Like besides the non-co-op thing, which still has annoyed me, it's launched pretty well in terms of the campaign is quite good. I didn't run into any game-breaking bugs in the campaign, and I think there are games that still do launch like really well. Like Red Dead Redemption launched pretty well. Like obviously the online didn't, and it still isn't that good. But that's just
Yeah. So you know how Battlefield has about 23,000 people concurrently playing it or something?
Doesn't Halo still have like nearly 200,000 people playing?
It has 272,586 players.
Yeah, it's still got a good, decent amount of fan base.
That's really good, especially if you're considering the, I guess, like egregious prices of the store. They'd be making a lot of money. Like, oh my gosh. Gosh, don't even get me started on the Battlefield Santa outfit. Okay, yeah, I'm just not even going to bother. I feel like that game. Here's my hot take: is that I reckon like the devs of the game, like obviously you can tell they're kind of getting sick of the Battlefield license, if that makes sense. Especially since well, actually no, because Battlefield 1 was fantastic, right? And we haven't really had every Battlefield up until Battlefield 1 was pretty good, right? The only one that was bad was like Hardline and 5, but that's because 5 was launched 6 months after freaking only had 6 months of development time or something. So I can understand that, but even then it ended up being a good game because it had a really solid base to sit on, but you could kind of feel it turning into more of an arcadey sort of feel, especially with the system where if your character goes down by getting blown up by a freaking tank or something, right? He would just lie there and wait for a revive, and I just didn't like that. It was so
It's fucking obliterated by a fucking tank, shell.
Yeah.
I know.
That's what they did in 5 as well, and it kind of annoyed me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that they introduced that in 5, and it was like, 5 had a lot of good stuff to start with.
There's no kill cam. You don't see where they are, you don't see where you died, you just see your body.
Exactly. And I think with 2042 is that instead of steering the franchise into a positive direction that the fans want to see out of a brand new Battlefield game, like with Battlefield 1 and stuff, they steered it more towards a similar feeling of playing Warzone or the adrenaline rush of a battle royale or something, and then adding the fact that they thought people love the Battlefield franchise because of the silly moments, if that makes sense. The silly moments are great, but the only reason they're so good is because the actual game is so fun and not visceral, but just intense, and it's so fun to play with your friends because it makes you want to win. And with 2042, they added those operators, and it's they're juggling so many different ideas that just didn't work because none of them were finished, right? Okay. And none of them worked with each other well, in my opinion. Okay. And it's just funny because there's more players in the portal mode because there's actually squads and there's a scoreboard or something, and there's actually maps that people enjoy that have some form of destructibility and stuff. If you play any of the maps like Hourglass or Kaleidoscope or something, you can't even knock down any of the buildings or anything around the objectives except for maybe one or two offside ones or anything. And all those buildings and stuff and demos where you saw the destruction of the buildings that DICE released ages ago, that doesn't happen in the game. You don't get that Siege of Shanghai feeling, and you don't get that cool Levolution Change feeling. But it's a fun game. It's a guilty pleasure. It's just that it needs that they need a rework the way that they've approached the whole operator system or specialists, I don't know what they're called, and the whole design of the game, basically, because like it just feels like everyone's running around, without any kind of coordination or anything, and then just doing dumb shit. And it's like, it's fine, but it's encouraging way too much of that arcadiness. And the reason the arcadiness is fun in previous battle games and the silliness is because the game actually has a solid foundation of semi-realism, and it's just really, that's my hot take. But I just feel like, because they like added tactical sprint, they got specialists, they got like emotes at the end of the game. Oh, don't even get me started on those. Anyway, that's my hot take.
Moving away from Battlefield, because this isn't about Battlefield, this is about games in general. So, like obviously, I think it's no question that companies are getting lazy with their releases of their games. Like take like this was way back in 2016 when fucking Battlefront 2 came out, and even Battlefront, like they came out and they were the laziest, underworked piece of shit that ever came out. But now, giving it time, Battlefront 2 actually is a really solid game from what I've heard. I haven't gone back onto it yet in a while, but apparently it's a really good game. And that went with when Battlefield 1 came out. Like that got really good after their first DLC. So it is kind of annoying to see.
Yeah, well, DICE can bring games back. It's just that they have so much work to do, and
it's just
that's the problem with releasing
Battlefield 2042. That's
the problem with releasing these games on Christmas, is that then they all have to take their breaks, so people are going to be stuck with a game that's unfinished for like 5 to 6 months.
Well, and also I feel like they crunch time because they see Christmas coming up and want to release it in November.
They did hella crunch time, especially like I bet it's just like upper DICE and EA wanted the game to have these things, and
you can really tell that like the team disagreed because they kept pushing it back as long as
100%, 100%. Gosh.
But then again, like having Halo launch on Christmas is kind of a few, because like that was a really good fucking launch.
Yeah, if that game didn't launch, I don't know.
My only pet peeve is that it doesn't have all the game modes for multiplayer. It doesn't have Forge. Like obviously that's all going to come later, which sucks. I wish the game would launch with it all in there, because like that's irexcusable. Like I think that's annoying. But at least the actual game is playable, if you know what I mean.
That goes back to what Nick said, like about how a lot of games are releasing with like less content than they did in the past, which makes them feel incomplete.
Yeah.
Sort of an example of how Infinite's multiplayer. And it's campaign, because the campaign it's not co-op at launch.
Like Halo 2. I think Ollie was about to say Halo 2.
Take Halo 4. Like that's like that was before Infinite. And that came out with Forge, with theater, with armor customization, with the campaign and everything. But then after 4, they got lazy. Or with 5, they delayed the Forge. They didn't have co-op. Then with Infinite, like, okay, well, add the co-op. They don't have the co-op yet. They don't have Forge. They don't have all the other stuff. Like, it's frustrating that companies do this. And it's so used to it that no one fights it anymore. They just say, oh, it'll come later. It's all good. Just buy the game later. It's just no. Just no.
Yeah. So do people not remember the days of Halo 2 where they were in serious crunch time? Like they made that game in 9 months?
Oh yeah.
And it was
Halo 2. Yeah, they had to scrap a lot of the game because
they literally I think they scrapped like half the original
campaign.
They just couldn't make the deadline and optimize it properly for the Xbox.
But you couldn't tell. Like you could maybe with the campaign, but
no, you could. That's
it was so buggy.
That's why Legendary is so hard.
No, 100%.
There are some cracks that show, but like just overall, even at its foundations, it's such a solid experience. Like Halo 2 is like a classic. So many people, me included, consider it the best Halo for a good reason. Like, even though it was crunched to shit and there's so much cut, and there were a few weak elements.
Wait. You consider it the best Halo?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Over Halo 1 or 3.
Yeah.
Listen. Halo 1 is great. Okay, no one can.
No. Halo 1
it.
is a masterpiece. I think it has the fairest legendary possible, besides the one-shotting of the hunters. I think it's got.
You know what? I would agree with that. I think it's also got
like
the fairest
honestly,
legendary.
like legendary is definitely the fairest, even with co-op. I think it's the best one to play with legendary. And
That
Halo-
being said, Halo 1, no, I prefer Halo 2. Like, not only
Yeah.
has it obviously it's not going to age well because it's such an old game. The same can be
Yeah.
said for Halo 2
so
and
with
Halo
Halo
3.
2. No, Halo 3 still aged quite well in my
Well,
my
yeah,
opinion.
but eventually it's going to be,
I don't
eventually
think
it's
it
going to.
will. I honestly think Halo 3 will probably stay quite good looking for a very long time, just because of Bungie's definitive art style.
Well, when I say aging poorly, it's not just graphics. It's every
Yeah,
facet of it.
it's everything. Like obviously, like Halo's gameplay is outdated to shit. That's why I'm glad they updated it in Infinite. So
Yeah, but that, like Halo 1 is legendary. No one can attest to that. It literally paved the way for FPSs. Like it literally
started
pioneered
FPS.
And LAN
reality.
parties
started
from Halo 2.
It started, yeah, like Xbox Live launched with it. The Xbox launched with it. It's the only Halo game to launch with an Xbox.
Even though that is the case with Halo 1, I can't let that like affect my judgment of the game.
Yeah.
Even though it's an incredible game, and I attribute it to so many good things that have come from it as a result of Halo 1 being made. I still think. I mean, I personally just enjoyed Halo 2 like more, just so much more. I remember so much more about it. It made a much bigger impression on me.
Then again,
I played
I've
it much more.
probably got a nostalgia boner for Halo 3 because it was one of the first FPS's Halo and game I've ever played on my 360 when I first got it.
Yeah, no, that's probably why I
I've
have
got-
like that same
yeah.
feeling for Halo 2. Because
Yeah.
you're a little younger than I am, Ollie. So there's
Yeah.
there's like little
Oh,
gap.
a little
Right?
young. It's 2 years, can't shut the fuck
Well,
up.
yeah, okay, but it's 2 years is enough, right? Like I'd imagine
Yeah.
someone that was 2 years older than me would probably have the same opinion of Halo 1, and that's I feel like that's just
Probably, yeah.
because they're older. Like they would have started with Halo before
So
Halo
so
2,
you-
and then
so you would have started playing Halo 2 when it.
yeah. I do think I played Halo 1 first, but I don't think I don't think I played it much. I think
Oh,
the first
I
Halo I
played them
really
first, yeah,
got into
order.
was Halo 2.
I played like Halo 3, then Reach, then I went back to ODST, and then I went to Halo 1, and then I played Halo 2.
Well, actually, while we're
yeah.
still on this, in the previous podcast, Ryan and Michael did discuss their favorite Halos, and obviously Halo 2 is Ryan's. And what was Michael's? I think it was Halo Reach, which I can agree with. Halo Reach is my personal favorite. It's very
Halo
Halo
controversial.
Reach is a
'cause
great game.
Halo
It's
Reach is
controversial,
great.
but it is my favorite. I fell in love with
It's
it when
not-
Ollie introduced it to me, and he's like, "You got to play this campaign. It's going to make you cry." And I remember
Dude,
being
I
like
remember,
12 or something, or 10, and I played it. I'm like,
yeah, little bit off topic. I remember when I
George,
had
no.
a copy of the game, and then when I saw that he had a 360, I brought the game over because I knew that he really liked that. Like I was like, he was gonna love this game because he was a Halo fanatic back then when I first told him about it. And seeing, like, I pull the case out of my bag and seeing his eyes light up when he sees it, and immediately
I'm like,
gets onto
what
George
is
play.
this? It looks so
He was-
different and weird.
Yeah,
Whoa.
and we played through that campaign like
Mm.
in one night, and James he fucking loved it.
Mm.
Halo Reach is definitely probably James's big nostalgia boner just because it was his first.
Yeah. But it's not
glorious
just
game.
nostalgia. It's the
It's a good
multiplayer
game.
progression in that game is still, in my opinion, the best an online shooter has ever done, aside from maybe Black Ops 2, I guess. But it's fantastic the way
I like
you
how he
I
always
really love
done
the
that.
multiplayer progression. The multiplayer progression in Halo Reach is actually like
It's funny.
amazing.
You can
Yeah.
tell we're Halo fans because we keep fucking landing on Halo every time.
Yeah, well, okay,
You
all right.
change-
Let's
It's a rich subject for discussion.
it's very rich, yeah. Well, Nick, what's your favorite Halo?
Yeah, I was going to ask Nick too. Yeah, I wanted to ask
Yeah.
Nick as well.
Nick?
Hang on, Nick's getting some cake, so he's not going to be
Oh,
on the
okay. Yeah, okay. I was
All
wondering
right,
why
um,
we were
while we let for him, wait, Ollie, what is your favorite? I think it might be
Halo 3, right?
I'm not going to say
Halo
it.
3.
Yeah, Halo 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought it would be.
it's Halo. Like, obviously, I think Halo 3 is. I think it is like the most controversial game. Like, it's either Halo 3 or it would be ODST. Just
Well,
because
actually,
of the-
Halo 3 was one of the biggest launches
And
for a
also-
game ever.
And also,
Yeah.
I fucking loved Halo 3's marketing. It was so
Oh,
cool,
The best.
and it was,
I love
and you
these.
could tell when you were playing it, it was an end of a trilogy. Like it was a solid trilogy. Like those three
Yeah.
first games were amazing. Like you can't beat that trilogy.
Bungie made Halo 3, and then Microsoft sitting at their desk, so like, so how'd Halo 3 go? It's like, oh yeah, it was pretty good. We kind of just wrapped up the trilogy, and everyone loved it. Wait a second, you wrapped up the trilogy? What do you mean? We're not done here, soldier. Get your ass back on there and make me a new game. And then Bungie's like, fine. Makes Halo 3 ODST, and then makes Halo 3.
Yeah. You can tell
Microsoft's like, no, I'm not done.
You can tell they ended it because after 3 came out, when they released 2 other games, they were meant to be spin-offs and prequels and shit because they wanted to just wrap up any of the past stuff, like with Reach. Like I think Reach has some of the coolest fucking dialogue in the game, in my opinion. That's why I love Reach. I love its militaristic like dialogue and shit.
Yeah, it's just that Halo feel is when you combine something so alien with like realism, like you make it really grounded, and it feels so natural and weird. Like it feels like a natural progression of society.
I always say this: what 343 was missing in the Halos was the militaristic feel. It never felt like you're in a military. It just felt like you were an object fighting for another object. Like, it's just like I always say that the smallest details matter, like the saluting, the respect feeling of rank, and just like having some kind of like appeal to higher ranks and like having your trust into that. Like it's shit like that just shows it's a military. Like even just simply saying sir all the time to hire, like it's stuff like that.
You know, I've been thinking about this recently too. And I think part of it attributes to that feeling is just the fact that in Halos 1, 2, and 3, for example, and Reach as well.
So militarized, it's just good. It's like a future. It feels real. Like, it feels like it could happen in the future.
I think that's because like just simply the fact that you've got your 2 sides, which are the UNSC and the Covenant, the main 2 sides. And they're literally like having like just a straight up war with each other. Like it's not really it's less of a
it is literally
it's less of like a small scale conflict or anything like that. It's less of like it is like a a conflict of ideals and all that, but it's also just just a war. Like by definition, it's a war. I feel like in Halo 4, for example, and Halo 5, and in Infinite, but to at least an extent. It doesn't feel like a war. It just feels like a conflict.
Like I liked Infinite a little bit, but like what was missing in Infinite was just those small scenes of like all out war. Like you don't.
But to be fair though, I think in Infinite's case, I think that should be given a pass because they're going through a more grounded story.
Yeah, but what I was actually about to get to was in Infinite's case though, they having those smaller scenes where it is just Chief trying to do, and he was only on one section of the ring. Remember, like there were still like Marines all over the other rings. You still had like the other Infinity like they were all landing on the other parts of the ring, and you could tell
that's true.
In that campaign it was more just about like Chief and like him like rebooting himself back up again into trying to, I don't know, save another ring, I guess.
Yeah,
it was definitely more grounded, but like it would have been nice to see like some kind of like small little conflicts here and there on the map, which I didn't really see much, which was kind of frustrating.
Yeah, I can agree to an extent with that. Maybe they'll have larger scale like conflicts.
Definitely with the flood, 100%.
If they're gonna make another game, which they will, because they keep on that ending was so fucking cliffhanger. But when they make another game, I think it's going to be on the same ring still. I would like to see a little bit more, like when he actually finds his other Marines and stuff. I hope to see a bit more militarism and like actual cool all out warfare, and you can tell it's a massive galactic war.
Mm-hmm.
On this ring.
Well, that's we don't know if that'll be the case though.
Yeah, no, but like that's what I'm saying though. Like I don't know, but hopefully.
Wait, have you guys finished the campaign?
Yes, we've all finished it.
Okay, sweet. So we can talk about this. Well, yeah, because like the thing is, the whole point of Halo Infinite story, like at the end, Chief, he took out Ishram, who's like their leader. I mean, that doesn't mean the Banished cease to operate. Of course they will.
There's still the Covenant, remember, as well. Like you still got the Covenant. Like they still exist. They will find.
Well, no, the Covenant doesn't exist anymore. I don't think. I feel like the Covenant got disbanded and the Banished swept them up, didn't they?
No,
I think there might be still remnant factions of the Covenant, but the Covenant as like a body definitely aren't still a thing.
I just thought that when the prophets of truth all died, the Covenant kind of just like lost its way.
Not
They
really.
did lose its way, but like they were still they still operated as a large body. Like there was still a big force to them.
Yeah.
I guess they were just like disorganized and.
So the
Covenant,
Banished
they
is
fell off.
basically just a Ravager group.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like they're splintered
just
people
thought-
from the Covenant.
Yeah,
Because I just
a
thought,
lot
I
of the
just thought the
designs
Banished
to
were
them.
just surviving Covenant or rebellious Covenant who got casted out.
The rebellious Covenant. Yeah, Aatrox, who made the Banished, who formed the Banished, he was a rebellious brute against the Covenant. He rebelled against the Covenant. He was meant to be executed by the Covenant, but he rebelled against them. And he fought back, and he decided, no, I don't want to get fucking executed, bro.
I don't want to die. What the fuck?
So what was the Truth's ideals? They just wanted to use the rings, right? They wanted to have complete control over
so the whole
rings.
thing with the original Covenant with the prophets was they sort of thought that because the Forerunners made all this stuff, like all the rings and all that, they had a lot of like things left behind for people to discover, and the prophets, they really misunderstood the intention behind the Forerunners and the civilization and what they left behind. Like for the rings, for example, we know that the rings are a weapon of mass destruction. To basically
weren't they
eliminate
used
the flood.
to conceal the flood as well?
Not to conceal. To
eliminate to an extent. They concealed some of it, but like it was to conceal them so that they could eliminate
they locked
them
them away to study them and all that, to learn more about them, obviously.
And then they'll use the rings if the flood gets out.
Yeah. They use the rings, to eliminate the flood. Because it's something. They use the rings to destroy the flood. That's the sole purpose behind the rings, really.
Yeah.
But the prophets misunderstood that, and they thought that it was some sort of holy artifact that would bring them salvation, that would like ascend them essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So they totally misunderstood the Forerunners' intentions, and that's the basis of which the Covenant was formed.
Yeah.
On that sole misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the thing was, though, wasn't it? Is that the Forerunners cared so much about life and like fertility and all that stuff that they didn't outright destroy the flood. They just concealed it to keep it away so it didn't destroy other life, because they were all about peace and trying to separate.
They did that with every life form.
They have even they had humans in Covenant just concealed because they like studying.
Yeah. I do think, though, with the flood, I do think that is a form of life that they completely denounced. I don't think they cared about that. I think the only reason they've got them locked away is purely to study them.
Yeah.
And to like figure out how to get rid of them.
Yeah. I don't think they give a shit about life. They just want to. if there's a parasite, they want to kill it.
Although other forms of life, like humans, for example, they do care about that because they did like put away multiple species.
It's
so that
why
they
kept calling Chief the Reclaimer, because they thought he was trying to activate the rings or some shit, because they needed someone to actually activate them. They can't activate them themselves. They can just build them and they get someone to find them.
Yeah, so the reason they refer to Chief as Reclaimer, or humans as Reclaimers, is because the Forerunners originally held the mantle of responsibility, which basically means they're responsible for like keeping order and peace in the galaxy. But since they died, humans they sort of passed on their mantle of responsibility to humans, and that's why they're called Reclaimers, because they're reclaiming the mantle of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole law behind that.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about it, and that's why they always get pissed off when they realize you're trying to destroy their things that they've built.
Yeah, well, the monitors anyway.
Yeah, the monitors get annoyed because they're pretty much the guardians of any kind of ring.
Yeah,
that's why.
And they've got specific directives programmed into them. They don't have the nuance of the Forerunners, I guess.
No,
but the Forerunners are pretty fucked up because they had like they were mostly all right, I guess, but there were some people that had like torture facilities for like humans and shit. It was pretty fucked up. The Forerunners did some pretty fucked up shit. It's pretty
Holy
cool.
Shit.
The lore for Halo.
We are the most nerdy Halo people I've ever fucking met.
Dude, I'm
okay, so do you want to add anything to that, Nick?
Well, I don't really know much about the Halo lore, so I'm not much. So I'm not like big into Halo as what you guys are.
Wait, we didn't ask that. I'm curious, Nick. I think so was James. What's your favorite Halo game, Nick?
Well, okay. So before I answer that, the first game I played was Halo 1, and then I didn't play any of the other Halos until Halo 4, just because I didn't have a console until then.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
So I would have to say Halo 4 because I think that's the only one I played the most of until
That
maybe
is a hot take. That is an absolute sleeper pick. I was not expecting that.
so.
Yeah, really? Halo 4 over Halo 1? Dude, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Well, it's because I don't.
No, I'm kidding.
I didn't remember much of 1 until and then when I
Oh,
played
yeah.
4, and then
So-
when we went back through as a group to play Halo 1, I don't remember half the missions that we did except for Pillar of Autumn.
To
and
be
the very
honest,
last one.
I can completely understand Nick's hot take. 'Cause,
Yeah,
Like,
I
so,
can understand
yeah,
how
yeah,
I have a
so-
huge
so
nostalgia
Nick-
thing for Halo 4 because it was the
so
first
have
game
you-
I got that came out when I was alive.
So,
Like that I
in
realized.
saying that though, Nick, so now that you've played, you've played all the other games now, haven't you?
I've played. I think the campaigns I've done is Halo 1, Reach, 4, 5, and Infinite.
And
So-
out
I
of
haven't
those-
done Halo
and out of
2 or
those-
3.
I've played some of 2 and 3, but I didn't actually. I did play a good chunk of 3, but I didn't finish that one, and I didn't finish 2.
You need
Okay.
to finish 3. It's a good
So-
campaign. Actually, do 2 and then do 3 because it makes a lot of sense with that. But
So-
yeah. So, but like with all those combined, Halo 4 is your favorite. Like,
I reckon probably go Halo 4, 1, 3, Infinite, then 5.
okay,
No,
yeah,
that's
that's
actually very
fair.
cool. Like just
That's
the
very
fact
fair.
that we all like a different Halo the most.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
cool.
very cool.
that's cool.
But the
think that's
thing is
very
that
interesting.
like I can agree with anything. It's just if someone says
just
Halo
shows-
5 is their favorite, I will cry.
Yeah. If you don't say the 5, I'm like, no.
Like it just shows that all the bunch of games have different things that make people like them more. Like there's no one good Halo game, which I fucking love.
Or just
about
Halo
that.
in general, you know. It's just
Like,
it's just such an expansive
that's
universe.
how cool Halo is. Like it's up to everyone's interpretation. Like anyone can interpret it in a different way.
Yeah.
It's such an open game to play, and I really want to be able to just forget everything I know about Halo, then play through them all again.
Yeah.
I would love to do that, just because
I
like,
would love that too. I
it would be
miss
so
the
good.
nostalgia and the feeling of just playing
Yeah,
Halo
like
2.
I miss just like playing 3 and just being like, this game is fucking awesome, or like playing Reach and being like, holy shit. And not
I totally get that.
Yeah,
Because I think the main thing is like each one is quite different from each other, which, like, obviously, like each one adds new things and changes things
Yeah.
from the previous one. And I think that's why everyone has like their own different
Yeah.
versions of like their own interests of each one.
yeah, and it usually always depends on like this is why this getting on back to the topic of like are games actually getting bad or is it just nostalgia? A lot of people will like older games because they grew up playing them. Like if Banjo-Kazooie was to come out this year, it would be a shit game. Let's be honest, it'd suck. It's just
So
so
many games would be. I feel like if you
yeah.
released any old games for the first time, like now,
They
they,
just
would
would
just
be
be
good.
received so poorly.
Yeah, and that even if you update the graphics and stuff, like it's just because back then they were revolutionary and people
Yeah.
grew up playing them, stuff
And
like
because
that.
there was like a
makes them-
standard that they
better.
met at the time, they were like your expectations weren't unless it was actually just a bad game, but like because they met the standard of the time, you were open to it, and so you could you could build positive.
Yeah, and also
feelings with it.
because gaming as a whole back then, besides arcades, it was quite a new thing to have a FPS or a platformer or something like that. So having those games, there's not really anything else to compare to. Like when you have a massive franchise like Halo, a lot of the diehard fans are going to be very critical of the new game because they've got older ones to compare to. When you got nothing to compare to with a new IP, all you can really compare it to is other of the same genre. That's why
That's true too.
That's why I feel like having new IPs is probably a good idea with a lot of companies because it leaves you optimistic about a new game. That's why people were hyped for Cyberpunk. It was one of the first new IPs that was exciting to see.
Yeah.
Then, of
Yeah,
course,
when you
it
keep
turned into
riding a
a show.
trend, yeah, no, and that's sad. But it has a lot of
That's-
potential. But that's the
It's
thing.
why
Is that,
it's why I kind of hoped Infinite was the last game because I feel like Halo is on its last legs and I don't want it to be overdone again. I think it was a good
yeah,
because it was a damn good campaign. I feel like it's satisfying to end it with there, but I know they won't because that's all people.
Well, I feel like Infinite has sort of rejuvenated everyone's interest in.
yeah,
Halo.
I feel like it has a lot of potential for so
I mean,
much more unique stuff.
If you think about it, right, Halo Infinite was like the first good Halo game since like
And
2010.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's only
We have-
because, let's be honest, the past 2 Halo games, right, were following a trend, right? But Halo 4, not so much. It was more just for the multiplayer, but Halo 5, 100%, right? That's the
Halo
thing, is
5,
that Halo 5 left
they-
such a sour taste in everyone's mouths that they
launched
thought
it.
the franchise was dead.
They launched it as a multiplayer game. Let's be honest. They had multiplayer in mind, then realized, oh wait, Halo's got campaign. Let's quickly make up a campaign.
Yeah. I think it's just that, like, back then, so many games came out and they weren't trying to follow a trend or anything. They understood the market and they just had an idea and they're like, this is really fun, because they play tested the game and they're like, you know what, let's do something really creative, right? Even if it's just another first person shooter, they had their own twist on it that made it feel completely different. It's so unique, right? Like with Halo compared to, like, you know, Rainbow Six back then, it was a completely different experience, like in terms of the first person market. Or if you go sci-fi, right, Halo compared to like Star Wars Battlefront 2, same, it was still first person shooter or like a third or whatever, right?
Hang on, sorry to interrupt you. Hang on, Nick. I saw that you're looking at my coffee bag.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's what I got from my Secret Santa. It's like like coffees. Yeah,
Wait,
so
you gotta send a picture of that and send it to the group chat.
It looks, it's like a gift basket. It looks
after the
absolutely
podcast.
delicious.
I'll send it into the chat. It's got like different
so
like
good.
syrups for coffee. It's got like I think coffee nuts. It's got some coffees in there as well, and I think also some like espresso packets as well. So it's like a whole coffee kit. I'm not much of a coffee drinker, so I'll probably just give it a lot to mum, but I'll probably use the syrups for a lot of cocktails and stuff.
I'm not much of a coffee drinker myself either.
Yeah.
I just fear that I get addicted to it.
Which you
coffee.
Yeah, because like when I used to work at Ozsteel, I was addicted to energy drinks.
No matter what drug it is, you always get addicted to drugs, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Drugs always have addiction.
Yeah, I get recommended so many different energy drinks, and I mean, they're cool and all, but like I try avoiding it because I had a huge addiction back in Ozsteel. Every day I would go to and from work and buy an energy drink either on the way back or 2 on the way there. And my skin was starting to smell like energy drink because it was sweating out of my pores. That's how like disgusting and bad it was.
Yeah, it gets pretty bad.
Yeah, and it took me a while to get over it. I kept buying this one called Mango Loco. It was delicious, but like I just can't drink energy drinks the same anymore because they just give me headaches and make me feel so sickly. It's a shame because I don't know how else to keep myself awake if I'm really tired without doing something addicting.
Do you guys remember when?
And like coffee isn't even that like.
James, shut up! Jesus Christ!
Okay, do you guys remember when Call of Duty Advanced Warfare came out and everyone hated the game because of the exosuits and all that?
Yeah.
And then do you remember when Call of Duty Black Ops 3 came out and everyone said this is actually worse?
The thing is that when I think about it, Advanced Warfare is so much more like, I remember it a lot more distinctly than Black Ops 3.
Really? Because you barely played Advanced Warfare. What the fuck
I know,
do you
but
mean?
it's just the way that they jumped freaking literally balls first, like head first, whatever, right, into the deep end with that because they want to do something completely new and different. Even though it kind of turned the franchise into a bit of a big box gambling machine, it was still like just very different and creative, and I applaud them for that. Whereas Black Ops 3 was just following a trend, and it was really bad and did not fit the franchise.
I probably agree with you on that, but I'm going to disagree because I don't
think Advanced Warfare is a good game, and I don't think I'll ever go back to play it again.
I could not and will not be able to play Advanced Warfare physically because the game makes me nauseous.
Yeah,
with the movement. That's why I liked Black Ops 3 a bit more.
It's the motion blur.
They definitely polished the jet suits and stuff a bit more. Yeah. And that's why it was. I don't think it was as bad received. I think it was just because the campaign didn't have spaces in it. That's why it was worse.
But no, I feel like Black Ops 3, like it's that game where it's like it's good for either crowd. It was very divisive, controversial. But I feel like it's just because I feel like Zombies fans got their value out of it. Yeah, Zombies fans got their value. Yeah.
Still the best
was really
Zombies.
Trash, though. Oh, dude, Black Ops 3 has the best zombies.
I bought the DLC straight away. I remember those zombie maps so distinctly. Like,
I remember, Ryan, you've been like desperate to want to get Chronicles, but it was always too expensive.
Yeah,
I fucking love. I'm so glad I eventually got it. I don't play it much because it's just it's just that old now. But
Yeah.
oh man,
Yeah,
Black Ops 3
those
is the
zombies
best
days.
zombies.
Yeah. But that's
Yeah,
the thing
I
is that
played
every
Black
new
Ops 3.
Call of Duty that came after that, they just kept rehashing the same zombies maps, and it was so unoriginal, just so
Yeah.
uninteresting.
And they really fuck with the zombies formula the wrong ways too. Like
Oh my god!
World
Have
of
you
War through Black
seen-
Ops 3, like
Yeah.
every feature, every like progression of the zombies felt natural and good.
The Vanguard zombies. Oh my god!
Oh,
and you
so
know
bad.
what's even
It's
worse?
so
It's
bad.
made by Treyarch. That zombies is made by Treyarch.
I know.
That's so bad.
It's literally like
It's
literally like Cold War
insulting.
zombies on a budget.
Yeah,
It's so insulting.
it's like a it feels like a mobile game.
It's so bad.
No,
I would literally
no,
keep World War Zombies.
Call of
for that.
Duty Mobile Zombies is better than Vanguard Zombies.
Not even joking. Literally, at least one of them's
It's so
portable.
insane.
Yeah.
It's sort
Even though
of,
it was outsourced to Treyarch, there's no shot that like Treyarch was either on a time crunch or they had a massive budget.
I
mean,
just
a
don't
massively,
think
like,
they
a massively
care.
limited budget.
Activision is squeezing these developers dry, and no wonder like
Yeah.
20 of their head directors and stuff fucking
They need a
left
break.
the company.
They need a break.
Because they're like, well, also because of like, you know, the freaking assaults that are going on there. What the hell is that? What the hell?
think about
fucking Bobby Kotick.
See,
Make
think about it.
Tens
Right?
of billions
You know-
of dollars a
You
year.
know how Assassin's Creed goes yearly?
Yeah.
Remember how they took a break, and then I think was it Odyssey that came out was like actually
Odyssey was
really good
fun.
again?
I really liked Odyssey.
Yeah, no, the reason why it was good is because they took that year gap and actually had more time to try and come up with better ideas. I feel
Yeah.
like Call of Duty need to have a year gap between the two games. Between the
Well, they
three
did that
games
with
there.
Modern Warfare, but then they
Valhalla came
kept
out.
going back to the 1 year thing. Yeah.
No, they didn't. Modern Warfare wasn't 2 years after; it was a year after. They've never missed a year since.
I think all Call of Duty games between 2013 and 2018 just didn't do as well from like 2012 and before.
Yeah, no Call of Duty is peaks like Black Ops 2 has. Black Ops 2 is still the most.
Black Ops 2 is the
the
best
most
overall
game.
game. Like
It
all
is-
components were so good.
It made like $2 billion in its opening weekend or some bullshit like that. It was fucked. It was the most hyped game. That's probably because of their marketing, but it's a solid game. It's a really solid game.
It's just so good in every facet. Like Black
Yeah.
Ops 3, sure the zombies was like the best it's ever been, but the multiplayer was divisive and the campaign was
Yeah.
shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't like about Black Ops 3 multiplayer was that you could wall run, and it sort of felt like it was not bad that you had to learn how to defeat the people on the walls, but it's just a whole new thing that you have to worry about now. Instead of just trying to not die, you have to worry about 80 other angles to worry about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I really
Yeah,
feel
it's-
like with the movement system, like in Black Ops 3, and just that whole futuristic system in general, it's purely just up to how much you're willing to adjust to it. Forget Advanced Warfare because that's a bit on the extreme end. But for Black Ops 3, I feel like if you like the futuristic movement system, whatever, or if you're open to it, it's not that bad. But if you're not, it's it just seems
It's jarring.
too much. Yeah, it's jarring. Yeah. Whereas opposed to in Advanced Warfare, it has its fans, but I feel like for the most part, even people that aren't opposed to the futuristic movement system can agree that in that game it's done poorly.
Yeah, especially when compared to Titanfall. Holy shit!
Oh my
I loved
god, Titanfall was the peak. Titanfall
That
was
was-
the peak.
And they kept
Oh.
trying to copy them.
Yeah. No one has been able to replicate that movement like Titanfall has. Let's be
Titanfall
honest.
2.
It's such
the
a
graphics-
shame
Quality
that
is so
Titanfall
solid.
2 took so long to get a resurgence, and
Titanfall
now
3
it's being targeted by by a hacker. Oh my
I
god,
know.
dude.
And then it's losing
so
its play
fucking
base.
shit.
And then
Yeah, all 'cause
EA,
this fucking hacking guy.
cancels
EA
3.
shut down their Titanfall 3 for a certain period of time, and then Respawn's like, all right, well, screw you, and they made Apex Legends, and it was really successful. And EA's like, maybe we should have given them Titanfall 3. God, I hate EA. Oh my god.
I'm counting the days for Titanfall 3, man. I
Yeah,
can't
it's
wait.
their fault that Titanfall 3 was not. Obviously, if you release two, like one of the biggest debut franchise comebacks, like Battlefield 1, in the same week as Titanfall 2,
It's Titanfall 2. Yeah, obviously it's not going to do that
idiots,
well.
so dumb.
You know
I've
what?
got
Though,
both of
even
them
though
anyway.
it took a while, ultimately I am happy that at least in the end, eventually after some time, Titanfall 2 did get some credit and attention that it
Yeah.
deserved.
Yeah, we all need to download it and play it because like I just want to play it.
Yeah, I've still got it
That's the
installed.
thing. We can't play it because it's being targeted
hacked.
by a fucking hacker.
I just mean at least we can do custom games and like do hide and seek.
No, we
No,
can't.
you
You can't
can't.
even
You
log on to the
can't.
servers.
You can't log
Really?
on.
You
Like,
get
I
booted
tried
off
launching it.
almost immediately.
I tried launching it the other day. Like sometimes
Some people just need to go visit the devil for like a day or two and then come back. Okay? Like I'm just
Dude,
James,
hot take.
the hacker that's targeting the Titanfall and Titanfall 2 servers,
It's probably a cuck.
literally, most servers you can't even log on to the game. I have to play it on American servers just to find a game in Titanfall 2. It's actually insane.
Is it worse on PC or is it just is it just PC or is it Xbox?
Every platform.
No, it's every
it's
platform.
everything. It's servers.
Oh my god!
Servers aren't consoles. Servers are just servers.
This guy needs to like go fuck himself.
Yeah, I don't know
He's
what
rebelling.
vendetta he's got against Titanfall.
He's rebelling the wrong way. He's
You know what? He's probably some Call of Duty cuck. All right, that just plays Warzone with his bloody.
they copied the Black Ops 3 movement.
He literally probably just fucking screams at kids all day, and then he's
What's
probably
worse-
best friends with Ninja.
What's worse than this guy doing it is the fact that Respawn is so like lax on dealing with it. Like they barely acknowledge that it's happening, and when they do, they're always so vague about it, and they've done nothing. It's been
Yeah,
like almost I
Respawn's
think
been
a year
really
or two now.
weird lately, right? Like Apex, like those seasons, trying to get those pumped out took ages, and Respawn was just so slow in responding to like criticism to Apex Legends and like improvements, and it's just like I feel like
It's
that
even
company's
worse
just
for Titanfall.
struggling at the moment because of EA's fucking limp penis, right? It's just oh my god.
It's such
I
a
feel
fucking
so
shame.
bad because like that company was like praised for being
Mega
so
shame.
good, right? And then it's just like kind of just like in the shadows at the moment. It's just a bit like I feel like it's being trampled by EA, and EA just doesn't care because EA's like shit. Our biggest games are failing, right? Mass Effect, shit. Battlefield, shit. Apex Legends, does people even play that game more? Probably, but like,
It's still got a
Titanfall
healthy
2 is,
player
like,
base, but it's
getting
decaying
hacked.
a little bit.
right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
bro, the Titanfall games they need to deal with that. It's one,
Yeah.
presumably one hacker. Come on.
yeah. And then EA's like slapped their name all over that It Takes Two game. You know that one that won Game of the Year? Like,
Yeah.
you can tell they're like fucking trying to cling to something to like, you know, other than FIFA, right? Because FIFA and Madden are getting kind of like their dicks are getting held at the moment because of those egregious microtransactions and shit. And like,
Isn't the NFL trying to get out of the contract of the NFL license from
well,
Madden?
yeah, no, EA
After
isn't
22?
with FIFA anymore or something.
Yeah, FIFA's. I know FIFA's fucking.
Yeah.
Isn't like
So now
Madden,
it's just
like,
called like
Isn't NFL
EAFC
trying
or
to like
something.
leave? Like, aren't they trying to get out of the contract after 21 came out?
Well, the
I
thing
think-
is that they've already signed a
I'm not
contract till
sure.
2026. I don't care
Yeah,
about
I know.
sports games, but I think the only reason I legit acknowledge the fact that they exist, right? Because I don't care about people who play sports games. It's fine. Like, you know, sometimes you just like I agree with like wanting to play a cool sports game. That's fine. Like, you know, that's like with me. Like, I would love to see a skateboarding game made properly and well again, like Skate 3, and they're so fun. But anyway, that's another topic. But yeah, it's just super hard for them to just
That is a
find
sport
something
game,
else
it's
because
an
EA
FPL
has a
games.
monopoly on Madden and NFL and FIFA games. So it's just anyway. What I was trying to say is that like EA's like lifeblood is those sports games at the moment, right? And
Yeah.
it's becoming such a nuisance that it's affecting their developers that we all know and love, like DICE, Respawn Entertainment, and the people who made It Takes Two and stuff, right? You know, and also how could I forget? BioWare, right? BioWare's getting affected by it the most. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
It
It is sad.
God, poor BioWare.
Yeah, I know. But then again, they kind of screwed up with Mass Effect Andromeda. That was a bit of their
Andromeda,
fault
yeah.
because
Yeah,
there's a bit of a mix with both, obviously, because EA always fucks up with their companies. Like, you know, every time something fails, it's always immediately going to be something wrong with EA. But sometimes it's more the developer. But I think in this case, it was a mix of both because BioWare kept delaying the freaking preview thing that they give to the producer, which is EA. and they gave them something that wasn't even what the game was going to be. Because they hadn't even started the game. And like when they had the E3 demo, that stuff that they demonstrated wasn't even the game because they didn't have one. It was so, oh my God. BioWare was just being lazy. And I think it's because, I don't know. Oh, actually, yeah. I think it could be because I had such different changes, like with the Cyberpunk situation, how the director left and how like EA was taking a lot of the developers to work on stupid, like fucking Madden. Are you kidding me? Why do you need more people to work on a bloody football game, bro? You have like 20 years of data of this football game, right? Why don't you just use that shit and just make a good one, okay? You don't need to take away 100 people from BioWare to make your stupid football game. Oh, just sorry. Anyway, that's my hot take. But yeah.
So moving on from Madden and EA and shit. Any closing statements on video games have gotten worse or better? Like, so any kind of closing statements?
I think there's one game that did sort of get better, but it's more related to the company. Do you remember the Dead Island game?
Oh yeah!
Do you remember when they got cancelled and then Techland decided they wanted to make Dying Light?
Yeah. Yep.
And that became like one of the best and most well-known zombie games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that obviously, and then there was the whole thing of like Dying Light 2 was meant to come out late 2018, then never actually came out, and then it was delayed until this year. And then do you guys remember from like all the footage and stuff? The game didn't seem to be.
Yeah, the thing is that I'm a bit mixed on that. I'm just hoping. Well, I think what you're trying to say, Nick, is that like a lot of the big developers are struggling, and a lot of indie developers and like devs like Techland that focus more on like a minority sort of game, right? Like are doing a
niche group.
A niche group, yeah, because it's different and it's creative and they're not following a trend. And that's why when we saw Dying Light 2 with the health bars and stuff, we got worried, I guess. It's because it was following a trend, which is that kind of stuff, like, with a health bar, trying to wait for you. Someone's like,
sorry to interrupt you, James, but you remember, we me and you specifically, we revised our opinions a little bit after we watched more footage.
We did, yes, we did, because because we watched that guy, I forget his name, he's like an Australian guy.
Aussie GG.
Aussie GG, yeah. And he broke down a lot of the stuff because IGN, oh my god, they stupidly said that, what did they say? They said,
they said a lot of things.
There were so many mistakes in that fucking video.
They said things, that were completely wrong, that were literally false.
They literally showed sprinting.
Yeah, the guy's like, what do you mean there's no sprinting? There is sprinting. And I'm like,
what's in that? We were like, IGN did.
IGN is so unreliable sometimes. It's not even funny.
Sometimes, all the time. I don't think they've ever done a good review of a game that's actually accurate.
Yeah, what did they give Halo 5? Hold on, I need to see this. I swear they gave it an 8 or a 9 or something.
I think they fucking better not have.
I think my original thing was that
they gave it a 9 out of 10.
A game needs to be.
Oh my god, you're kidding!
In its 14 years, Halo has never felt so good to play. An updated arsenal and great new mobility mechanics.
IGN, what are you doing? IGN, what are you doing?
IGN, isn't it?
Sorry, Nick, continue. I just had to read that hot take.
IGN's actually Cap City.
No. I understand why, because they get paid by these people to do it. Otherwise, they won't get any more review copies and don't get any profit from it. But
I know.
It's the society that we live in.
That's why I hate listening to them speaking about stuff, because you can just tell it's so forced and fake, and like they don't care. And there's like a guy there that tries to be like cool and like cocky and like kind of just like he's like trying to be a niche gamer, hip with the kids sort of thing. Yeah, and it's just like he doesn't fucking know what he's talking about because he gets paid by these people. He doesn't care. As long as he says something positive. Like if he ever says something negative, he goes, but then on the other side, it's okay because we get introduced to this new type of bullcrap that I'm saying because I don't care. I'm getting paid. It's just so dumb. Anyway.
For my paycheck.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nick, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, like, the original thing was that, my original thing was going to be, like, sometimes a game needs to be cancelled so they can sometimes release a better game. like in Techland's example, like obviously they had to cancel making another Dead Island game for them to make this one.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe
which is a good decision.
I think with maybe some companies, maybe they have to sometimes cancel a game because maybe either they can probably release something better, and hopefully that some companies can learn from this.
Yeah, a good management team. Like someone to manage their finances and decide what games they need to make. Not to follow a trend, but that will boost them into, like, that is... So when you look at a game, right, you go, oh, you know what company made this game? Bungie made this game. And you know why? Because it's Bungie. And it's Bungie's art style. It's Bungie's gameplay. It's how Bungie would do this, right? You know who made this game? 343. It's how 343 would do this. It's their art style. You know who made this game? Techland. Because that's a Techland game. When you see Call of Duty and stuff, you're like, shit, that's just Activision's egregious money scheme. Right? Like, you don't recognize which developer made it unless it's Sledgehammer, because Sledgehammer always makes the worst ones. But anyway, that's
like another thing is like it's like too many companies now, and too many companies, I guess. They're too focused on appealing to like the widest possible audience, where a lot of games that have success end up like being because they understand what group they're appealing to, what niche they're targeting, and they focus on that. They try and build their game and their experience around that demographic, or around that feeling, like that that target demographic. Yeah. It's like, there's a healthy enough niche for everything that like no matter what game you try to make, if it's a good game that targets a specific niche that you're focusing on, and you do it well, it'll make money because there are enough people that like enough different things that it won't matter in the end.
Yeah,
of course, that doesn't always have to be the case, because I can understand that businesses want to make money and all that, but like if you try too hard and appealing to too many different people, it's gonna, in a lot of cases, it's gonna backfire, like we've seen in many cases. I don't even need to fucking like name anything, because it's just there's so many fucking examples. It's insane. Yeah. And especially of like, even if it's like a, even if it's a really niche, like it's something that's like really exclusive or whatever. If you do it well, there's every chance that you could introduce new people into that niche. Like, for example, Dark Souls used to be very like not accessible to people because it was Dark Souls. It was incredibly difficult. The learning curve was very high. It wasn't beginner friendly. But now it's got a huge fan base. It's actually huge, and it's spawned a whole fucking spin-off genre.
And people are getting keen for that Elden Ring game, right? Made by the same people, because they've introduced that audience.
Exactly. They built the time to focus on their niche and build an audience around it. And I feel like that's what more developers need to focus on doing, or more businesses.
Yeah,
that's just my 2 cents on that.
And I feel that's a really good closing statement, because we are actually going way over time, which is good. Yeah. It's a good conversation. So I'm just going to close. I'm going to close it with this. I think the issue with newer games now, not all of them, but a lot of new ones, is they try to appeal to a wide demographic instead of just sticking to their lane and to what they fans want. And I feel like that would be a really good thing for companies to do, is just to focus on what they do best and what defines their company.
Exactly. Do what you think is best for your game, all right? Not for the people, but for your game, how you want to tell and make your game, right? Because the only way you're going to get fans is by making a really good game. Just, oh, man.
So, who wants to do the outro?
I'll do the outro. Anyway, so that's our podcast for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. We've got all our links in the description. Follow us on subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. We're also on SoundCloud, so check us out there as well. I forgot the fourth one. Michael has
also it's Apple podcast, like the podcast app on Apple. That's what it is, yeah.
Oh, are we on that as well?
I was surprised by that. Yeah, I'm like, wow.
We're on that.
Oh, I remember Michael telling me about that.
Yeah.
That's true.
I watch Mark Hoppus and stuff on there. So they do Apple.
All you guys with your Apple phones, you can go onto your Apple podcast, and it should be there as well.
Or your Mac.
That's great.
If you
if you're an unlucky soul that has a Mac. There's like half our audience. Oh my god.
All right,
All right. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. I'll see you all later.
All right. We'll see you later. See you, everyone.
Kick him out. Kick Craig out. Fuck you, Craig.
Get out of here, Craig.
Okay.